Good evening. It's Melanie Moore here, and welcome to Big Vision TV. So tonight, my guest, as you can see, is Gordon Burchum. Now, I've known Gordon for nearly a year now, and we're part of the same business mastermind. And I've got to know Gordon personally, met him a couple of times now, and I've always been really inspired by his energy, the energy he brings to a room. And but also, as I kind of got to know him as well, just really inspired by his personal story. So before I hand over to Gordon, I'm just going to read a little bit of the information that he shared with me, his bio, shall we say. So Gordon has trained, taught and worked in the martial arts industry for nearly 25 years. After earning his black belt, he went on to win 3 consecutive world titles against guys half his age. In 1998, during his competitive career, he launched his dojo, which he still runs today. After retiring from competition, he now dedicates his life to helping others. He successfully built 2 six-figure companies, mostly through effective Facebook marketing, and helps his clients to generate millions of pounds through the same method via masterclasses or through his Facebook agency, while building his own thriving Facebook communities. He's an international speaker and best-selling author. Gordon has been described by many as highly motivational and inspiring. His passion and high energy for supporting others, and I think we might get a taste of the high energy tonight, to help others lead their best lives. And he's a dad of 3, and his family inspire him daily. Now, the other thing is that Gordon is launching his brand new, his second book today. So we'll be talking about that a little more in a minute. And we'll come to that bit in a minute. So Gordon, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining me.
It's great to be here. If I'm talking, I'm happy. If I'm talking, I'm happy. That's all I need. That's it. Live life happy. That's it. So yeah, no, it's great to be on here. Thanks for having me on. Love it.
Oh, it's brilliant. So I've given a bit of a brief background, and we talked about actually, was it here? Where did I read this? I
just make things up.
You make things up. Okay, fine. So when I asked you for so I thought right, here we go. So Gordon's launched a book today. It's called Live Life Happy. So this is a bit, I thought I was going mad here. Now, I knew this from when I'd met Gordon anyway. It says here, sharing his often arduous life journey as a young boy that never quite fit in and was a cruel target for bullies, to reaching black belt in martial arts. He went on to win 3 consecutive world titles, later years becoming a successful serial entrepreneur that he is today. Gordon's story is something of an inspiration. One main driving force for him throughout his challenges was the desire to discover precisely what happiness meant for himself. After the loss of his dear dad in 2019, who was his aspirational role model, Gordon was compelled to ask deeper soul-searching questions about what happiness really is, how does one find it, and in this motivational and life-changing book, he uncovers all the aspects of happiness that's helped him to transform his life, those of his clients, to live a fulfilled and joyous life. So let's go back to the beginning. So that was a blurb I just read from the back of the book. I have put a link in the comments where you can get your hands on a copy of the book today. And let's talk about, kind of the man behind the book.
Sure.
Obviously you've gone through this martial arts journey, you've built successful businesses, but, what would you say was the driving force behind this? What made Gordon, what lit that fire for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I like, really, my story of when I grew up, when I was growing up, especially when I was younger, through primary school, for instance. As I was younger, I was never very connected with people, believe it or not. I am now, but going back years, I always felt like I was on the outside. I always felt disconnected. I always felt I was very, very different, which I am. But I felt very disconnected. Through primary school, I had 2 friends, both of them were girls, and both used to beat me up, and I literally lived in a lot of fear. And through my childhood, I had a lot of fear. There's a lot of conflict going on around that time, and I was such a scared young man. I can't even describe how scared I was at times. I used to want to vomit. I was that scared all the time. And I remember when I went to secondary school, it kind of changed a lot for me there. I was really trying to fit in. And I had so-called friends, but I was literally just like the dirt on people's shoes. And I just felt like everywhere I felt I was good at things, but I was totally and utterly knocked down constantly. And then I started to believe I was no good. My self-worth was diminished. I didn't like my name. I hated how I sounded. I didn't love myself. And then I started to get physically bullied, especially by one lad. And I remember like riding home on my bike and like trying to go the back way so he wouldn't, see me. And I'd ride back and I'd get back home and shove the bike into the hedge, and I'd run in and I'd be searching frantically for a video, like, if anyone knows what that is, yeah, an actual video, yeah, okay, throw this video, and I'd look for the longest video, the one was like an hour and a half, 2 hours, put it in there, and I'd sit there trembling watching this video. I wasn't even watching the video. All I was thinking in my mind was, Mom, please don't let me go out, don't ask a question, don't ask me, because my mom would go nuts if I weren't going outside. She'd say, why are you not going outside? And I'd have it that long so that it would go dark, so she wouldn't ask me why I wasn't going outside. And the reason I wouldn't want to go outside is because I kept getting beat up, and it was horrendous. I remember getting punched against a car, kicked, stamped on, crying, running into my mom many times, and then she'd hit me and say, get back out, get back, every time you get knocked down, get back up, that's how you win. I'm crying, literally crying, and like just so scared. I'd be walking up the road and people would see me and they'd say, I'm gonna fucking kill you, it was like that. And I didn't, and I basically was a victim. I had a victim mentality, and I just felt so scared. I go back to that time now, and I'm just a shadow of what I am today. And I started martial arts when I was 17, and my friend came to the door and he said, I'm starting kickboxing. I was like, you insane? Like, I can't stand getting hit as it is. Remember starting the classes, got on with it, and then I started going to classes more regularly, and then I started sparring. And now was a very scared man. Like, I'm getting if I just tapped me, I'd cry because I'm just so scared of conflict. And I was driving at the time, I was 17, 18, driving, and I'd drive to the I'd be driving towards the dojo, then I'd drive back. And I was telling myself, no, don't go. Make an excuse. Tell them that you were tired. You weren't feeling very well. And I keep driving backwards and forwards. Then I would get to the dojo late because I was going backwards and forwards. And I'd be crying at like 17, 18 to go in. And I'd wipe my eyes and I'd go in and I'd do this class. And I'd end up getting hit and I'd cry again. And I just had this constant fear. But I went on to I just kept doing it. And I kept doing it and doing it. And then I started fighting in competitions. And I remember the first competition, I stood on this mat and I looked up and I swear to God it was Bruce Lee, right? I swear. This guy was Arnold Schwarzenegger. His arms are massive. I was a beginner, right? And this guy was I think he levitated and doing triple spins in the air. What's going on here, right? So I get on there and I get knocked down 10 times, like all the way up, crack, bang. And I remember getting hit the first time, going on the floor, and it was just going back to being absolutely stamped on and kicked when I was. And I remember coming off that mat after just feeling demoralised again. It took me straight back there, threw my gloves off, said I'm never doing that again. This was on the Sunday, and I went back in the dojo on the Monday, and I kept this cycle going. And I kept losing everything. I lost every fight you can imagine. But I kept going. I kept going every Sunday. And then...
Why did you keep going back?
Pardon?
Why did you keep going back?
I know now, but I didn't know then. And the reason was, my mum used to say to me, every time you get knocked down, you get back up. That's how you win. Crack. Now, I hated her for that, by the way. I fucking hated her for being like that. That was the greatest gift she ever gave me, because I just kept going back and back. I just had this desire to keep going and to win and to show everyone and to try and I was always trying to get respected by people, and that was it. I was always looking excited. Can I get respect? Because I was I wanted to be liked. I wanted to be loved. I lacked so much love for myself and from others, and I kept going back, and even I started to win some tournaments. And the listeners will understand this, right? When you do something really well, but then you tell yourself it was for a reason. They only won that fight because you were having a good day. You ate the right porridge, or you got a good round, it's just an easy round. You were lucky. I used to tell myself that all the time, and that went on for years. And it wasn't until 2012. and I fought at the British Championships, and I beat a lot of people then, and I won the whole British title. And then I got selected to go to fight for England in Canada. Now I'm training really hard, and we get to like the time we fly off there, and I'm standing in the air. I remember it like when you're going to board the plane, you've got the tunnels. And I'm standing there, I'm looking, and I remember reading this paper or whatever I was doing, and I remember looking up, and I looked around. I thought, what the hell are you doing here? Like, you are nowhere good. You're not good enough to be here. I was like, okay. So I gets on the plane, gets up, and then obviously the tournament starts, and you go through rounds, yeah. So you go for your the first day is all preliminaries. So you've got to get through the rounds then to get to like the final on the last day, right? So I get on the map, but fights the first guy from, I think it was Germany, and I beat him. Then I'm telling myself it was just an easy, like, well done, you won your first one in a world, thing. Then I fought a second guy, and he was Canadian. Then a third guy, American, and I beat them all, right? So I was like, wow, you must have had some good spinach, So I was just making this stuff up, right, in my head. And I remember I got to the final, so it was a day before the final, and I remember going through my head, you've done really well to get this far, that's probably it for you. All of this negativity stuff going through, really just self-doubt. So gets to the final day. But actually the night before, I remember something changed, right? This is really profound. I remember going to bed, and there's something clicked in my head, and it was like, if you carry on doing this, you're going to get the same result here. So hold on a minute. It's time to talk to yourself better. It's time to tell yourself a better story. So I started to look and image and visualize the fight in my head the next day. And I visualized it in this way. I visualized the feeling, the emotion, and how easy it was, how simple, how it was going to go, how effortless it was. And I literally fell asleep visualizing. I woke up on the finals. As I've woke up, and I had this sense of calm in my body. I woke up, I got my bag. Everything I did was perfect. Like everything. Like I put everything in my bag perfectly in the right way around, and I'm never like that. Everything. I mean, if I'd have had an iron, I'd have ironed my boxer shorts. Like I'd have done everything like that, right? So everything was perfect. The way I walked, and I had this sense of calm. I went down, had breakfast, just in this calm mode, and in my head was going round and round, warming up, and then it was into the final. So, and bear in mind, this lad is like half my age. He's winning everything. He's ripped. Right, and he reminded me of the guy that beat me the first ever fight that I had, yeah? So he was just like the kind of guy. I'm thinking, okay. So it's 2 rounds, 2 solid rounds, right? So I'm in the first round, and I'm in this zone, I'm fighting, and I'm doing my thing. And I remember my instructor at the end of the first round, he grabs me, he throws water in my face, and he bangs me like this, and he went, look at that, you're ahead. And I remember thinking, yeah, that's great. I was all right. The first one was all right, but I'm going to probably lose the next one. All this kind of thing, right? But I get up, and I goes in, and literally every technique, everything that I did, it was like I wasn't there. I just fired, and it was just in this, in your genius zone, yeah? And also I remember standing there, and I remember, like, literally my eyes closed like this, and I remember them bringing my arm in the air, and I remember him saying, Gordon Burchum, world champion. And there's times in your life when you have these the special moments in your life. This was the time I was born.
Wow.
Like 2000.
And what year was this?
2012.
Competing against someone half your age. So how old were you at the time?
35. So I was like, and I remember I was like, and I started to cry, and I was crying because it was the time that I could now respect. I was born, and it was everything popped around me, and I literally gained this inner self-love and respect for myself on them mats. And I remember feeling, I've got goosebumps now. I can remember going, I beat the biggest challenge in my life was myself, and I realised that from that moment I could be anything I wanted to be. And I went on from that moment there. It's the most profound moment of my whole. I was born. End of story. That person in that day, that transformation, what you see now from 2012 to now is like massive transformation. I literally, from that day, everything changed for me in my process, in what I was going to go and do. And then since that time, I went on to win 3 consecutive world titles back to back, beat everybody. I went from that, I set up my consultancy and training business. I went and helped hundreds, if not thousands, of martial arts schools indirectly. Written 2 books now, built 2 multi-6-figure businesses, and just went on like this mad journey of self-discovery. And one of the things I'm really passionate about is really helping people really love who they are, genuine love for self. Like, I had 0 love for myself. I hated what I seen in that mirror. And it's so important, and that was one of the big catalysts for me for change, was when I started to respect who I was. And it was massive for me, and it brought me to where I am today, which I feel like every single day I wake up, I feel blessed to be alive. Every single day, I wake up with so much gratitude for living. I literally wake up and I look at the sunshine and I look at the clouds and I feel so blessed. I wake up with gratitude every single day in the life that I live now.
Oh, that's brilliant. And 3 things that I pick up on there are those, who watch the show, people in my members community. Well, no, obviously the visualization is so powerful. It's, it is everything. Wayne Rooney has talked in interviews about how, certainly in his kind of heyday, he would ask the kit manager, what kit are we playing in tomorrow, so that he knew what he'd be wearing. He would go through the game in meticulous detail in his head the night before. The power of visualization is incredible, and I feel that you'd already mentally won in your head the night before, and I think that is, if we can do the mental bit in our head, then that is really half the work, and the rest of it is just like, well, I've already practiced. It's a mental rehearsal. Your
mind doesn't know what's real and what's not.
Exactly.
And by the way, I hadn't learnt that. It was something I decided to do. So it was fascinating. I hadn't gone through any training on it. It isn't something that I'd thought about doing. And I feel like, it was massive. But one of the things I learned along that, and what I teach a lot of people now, is the most important story in the world is the one you tell yourself every single second of every day.
Absolutely.
And in our mind, we're constantly having a conversation.
Yeah.
We have to catch that conversation is so empowering or disempowering. So we have to catch that conversation, and we have to be kinder to ourselves, and we have to change it. And everything that we are the most important person in our lives, period. You have to look after yourself. And that story, every second, our mind is so complex, it moves at such a fast rate that we need to check in with ourselves all the time, multiple times a day, and ask ourselves, is this story a good story? The story you want to be telling, it has to be a bestseller. You have to, I'm so passionate about people being their biggest fan. You want to look at yourself and love yourself, look in that mirror and just go, you know what, I'm so fucking passionate about you. Because most people, their biggest challenges, they're so busy this day and age right now, and the ones that I worry about are the teenagers and social media, where they're looking at these so-called celebrities and people, and they want to be like that person.
Only a click of a button now, you can completely distort your face, you can clear your skin, you can widen your eyes, you can make your lips fuller, and make your eyebrows on fleek. I know exactly what you mean, when it comes to
we're born unique. I'm like every single person, 7 billion people on the planet, every single one is completely unique. There's no one exactly the same as you. And we're born to be unique. There's this fictional world where people are so busy looking externally, they're not looking at their internal power. That was me for a long time, and it's all inside. So love, internal love first. You got to love yourself unconditionally. That's important. I used to hate myself. I fucking love the person that's sitting here right now. I love it that I lose my keys. I nearly burn the house down. I love it that I flood the house. I love it that I'm absolute chaos. I love it that I'm loud and brash and I swear and I'm out there. I have so many people say you shouldn't be like that. I'm like, I'll be exactly who I want to be. Exactly who I want to be. And if you don't like who I am, fuck off. Get out of my life right now. Because the reality is this, right? If you don't protect the garden of the mind, the weeds will come in. And most people are allowing outside sources. They're so busy looking externally. Either they're looking externally or they're allowing outside things to affect you. No one can affect you without your will. Going in through here right now, through a pandemic right now, right? Okay. never has there been more importance to protect this thing here. This mind here is so special, and they're infecting it with news and negativity and social media. And we all know
fear and the fear.
The fear, like fear is just created, like, and if you decide, like, every single person, I'm going to get passionate now about this.
Go for it, Gordon.
Right now, if you're feeling bad, change what you're putting in your mind, because it's that shit that's affecting you. Turn the news off. Turn your notifications off. I do not have Facebook on my phone. I have Facebook on my computer. I have a news eradicator off, so it blocks the news feed, so I don't hear the drivel shit that people, what they're trying to do is put their stuff onto you. Like, don't watch the news. Like, and I know it sounds, oh, like, yeah, but you need to. No, you're telling yourself that story. You've got to protect yourself. You've got to empower your mind. Like, people will suck you dry if you're not careful, and they'll literally put their fear and negativity onto you. And if you're not careful, you will become that. So it's so important right now. Like, if you, like, you have to create your own world, your own environment. Don't allow them to come in and take it from you. Like, never been more important than right now in history, in this change that's happening in humanity right now. It's monumental. It's crazy. You know what?
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And you know, I've been saying exactly the same thing, perhaps not quite so loudly and quite so passionately, but I'm saying exactly the same thing. And I remember at the beginning of March, I actually put something on Facebook and Instagram. It was actually a little excerpt from the Napoleon Hill book, Think and Grow Rich.
Yep.
And there was a pandemic in 1918.
Yeah.
And the editor of one of the New York newspapers the mayor of New York got all the editors of the newspapers in and said, gentlemen, I'm going to urge you to please stop publishing all the scare headlines, because otherwise we are going to have a situation that is going to get out of control. So they did. They stopped publishing it. And what happened? The pandemic just kind of disappeared. You know, funny that. And I posted this at the beginning of March because I could see so clearly that if the fear wasn't controlled, there would be a situation that would go out of control, and that's exactly what's happened.
It's fear. It's fear. Like all of this, guys. Like, take your fucking power back right now. Like, if you're listening to this, take your power back. Do not be controlled by any outside force. Like you are born here with, like, freedom, like, whatever you want to call that. We're born here with freedom. This other stuff that's around you, it's just them wanting to manipulate your mind. Like, and by the way, it doesn't matter who it is. It could be your mate, your friend, your ex-wife, your ex-husband. It doesn't really matter. But what you've got to remember is that you're responsible, right? You're responsible for how you feel. Like, most people say, well, I just feel bad. You're responsible for that, for what you feed in your mind and how you step up every single day. That's, like, I always say to people, stop pointing the finger and start to look here. Like, there's always three pointing back. And if that's the case, it's the hardest thing for a human being to do. Hardest thing is go, look at myself. They'll go, well, it's not my fault, there's this pandemic, and it's Boris Johnson, and it's that person, it's that person. As soon as you do this, your power is diminished. As soon as you look internally, this is where our genius is. We've got to look inside your soul for the answer and say, you know what, if it's to be, it's up to me. And as soon as you go, I'm in control of my life, and actually I'm responsible for everything that's happened in my life.
100%.
Like, full responsibility, no finger pointing. You know, it's like, well, I crashed the car. When my father crashed the car, yeah, you fucking chose to go in the car. Take responsibility for getting in the car. It's hard to take, I know, but when you can accept it, the beauty is you can change it. But you can't change a human being. You can't go to Boris Johnson and say, "Can you stop the pandemic, please?" You can't go. You can't change outside, but you can change inside. So changing inside your world, how you think, what you're reading, what you're eating, what you're doing, the actions you take every day massively change your outcome perspective of the world. And this is a big shift in humanity right now. Like, people are starting to wake up, and there's the wake up, and I think there's a higher level here. It's like, actually, I'm not controlled. Actually, I think I'm controlled, but actually I'm not. And once you start to tap into the true power of you, not looking externally, That is what happened to me. Like I know whatever happens, if there's anything bad that happens in my life, it's my fault. I like, what could I do better? What can I change? How can I change that? And that's it. And most people can't do that. Most people do it externally. But when you do it, it's so much freedom because you're not held and chained to somebody else. And guys, I would highly urge you to watch your language and what you're saying, and you'll see, monitor it, and you'll realize you're pointing all the time, or you're blaming, and it's like, whoa, but I can't change that, but I can change me, and that's the biggest thing.
The language is so important. Funnily enough, I was actually just doing a call with my clients last night, and the topic of the call was language and affirmations. And because ultimately, at any point in the day, and you said earlier, check in with yourself several times a day, notice how you're feeling. If you're not feeling good, what's a story, what's a narrative, what's a dialogue that's fueling the feeling? And because we're not our feelings, we're not our thoughts, we're just the thinker of them. If you don't like the way you feel, change the story, think something different. That's all it is.
I've got a model I want to give to you guys, right? It's called Changes, and I created this model where you can get up, like if you're here, just type in the comments below, whatever it is, right? Like, who here wants to live a fucking outstanding life? Like, and I mean like fucking outstanding, like all in, right?
I'll raise my hand to that.
Yeah, baby. Right, okay, so I want to live an outstanding life. Guess what? And I take Tony Robbins for this because I've heard him say this. He goes, you've got to create it. Like, I remember Tony Robbins standing on stage and he's like, I created this motherfucker. And I believe that. Like, it's beautiful. He's going, I created what you see here. We're all creators.
We are.
And here's the thing. You can create each day. You are the Picasso. You are literally painting your day every single. You're the artist of your life. So it's like, well, okay, how can we say, like, what can I create? It's very simple. It's called Change. It's an acronym. And basically, standing up every single day when you wake up and say, I have the power of choice. That's my gift. I am choosing. So choice in the C in Changes is choice. Knowing that you are choosing everything in your life. And when you can own that shit and say, well, if I choose everything, I'm going to choose to be happy. I'm going to choose to smile. I'm going to choose to have a great day. I'm going to choose to live the life that I choose, that I want. Choice. And,
it is.
And happiness. So each day I'm going to get up and choose. The H is for happiness. Like I say, I'm going to choose to be happy. Why is happiness important? Because it makes you happy. Like I say, well, really simple. So like happiness is important as oxygen. And you say, well, how do you do that? What makes you happy? Do more of that. What makes you smile? Do more of that. I can't because, well, that's a choice again. Choose to do the things that make you happy. Imagine getting up every day, Mel, getting up every day and doing everything you did, you did everything that made you happy. It was like, wow. Or at least 50, 60, 70% of it was the stuff that makes you happy. I love to walk the dogs. I love to go for a run. Or I love to read this book. Whatever it is for you, do the things you love that make you happy. So happiness is important. The A is affection and love. So as you wake up, share love, give love, receive love. Like affection and love, like most people have forgotten how to love themselves and to love other people. You start to love internally, start to look in that mirror with so much love. What happens is that love, the greatest energy in the world, will literally spill out to other people. You love yourself, you'll love others even bigger. So have that every day, loving who you are without like, I don't like this bit about it. Love everything. So many people are looking for their defects. Like, it's not, you're perfect, you're beautiful, you are exactly who you are. Start to love because it's what makes you unique. So sharing and giving love. So I say affection and love. The N is for never judging. So remove the judgment so never judge other people, and more importantly, never judge yourself. Never judge. Judgment goes. This world is so full of judgment at the moment. We can all feel it. Imagine if you stop judging others for who they are and start to respect their model of the world. You then respect yourself, respect other people. You stop judging yourself, respect other people. This world would be far better if we respected people's face, who they are, stop the judgment and started to care more.
Absolutely.
Our human beings, like literally looking at them and respecting their model of the world for who they are, and removing that ego, which is, if you're judging, you've just got a big ego. You're just saying that you're right, they're wrong. But removing judgment of self and moving judgment from others. The G is all about gratitude. The G is for getting up each day and deciding to be grateful for what you've got while in pursuit of what you want. Gratitude for the present, for the gift that we have. And I try and do this every single day. The G is the most important, to get up and go, do you know what? This whole day I've got, this 24 hours, is the greatest gift I've got right now. Greatest gift.
Love that.
And you can sit right now. And most people's problem is they are, being happy with what you've got while in pursuit of what you want. If you're not happy now, you'll never be happy. And the reason most people will never be happy is, I don't care if you want £1 million mansion. You'll get to that mansion, and guess what? That mansion becomes a normality. So it's actually nothing. Everything is nothing. It's nothing. The material things are nothing. Our gift is life itself. Our gift is breathing. Our gift is being here right now. The present, looking up, watching the birds. That's our gift. Everything else is supplementary. So that gratitude of life, that gratitude and looking around at your family and the people you've got, if you can sit in gratitude every day, you'll be absolutely empowered. You don't need anything. And the E is for energy. The E is to use your energy. It's I have a lot of energy, right? Now, here's the thing. We're given the greatest drug in the world, our endorphins. See, most people are trying to get that by drinking alcohol, doing drugs, right? But they have it 24/7. Like, if you're feeling low, jump in the air and put your arms in the air and fucking dance and get your body moving. I promise you, within 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, you will be totally immersed. Like, honestly, you can do it any time you want to. You watch Tony Robbins do this in his events, right?
Change your state. Yeah.
Change your state. And listen, like, people are they're so busy sitting down, they're not. I tell you, it's a great thing. Set an alarm for yourself every 30 minutes, jump up and have a boogie. Like, move, shake that ass. Like, going, get your body moving. Because here's the thing, right? I promise you, your mind will trigger, your endorphins will flow, and you will feel so much more empowered with life. Them endorphins are your drug. They're free. And you can do it. Like, people say, I exercise 3 times a week. I want to exercise 3-4 times a day. I want to jump in the air and go for a run and get I go for a run every morning, not because I want to get fit, because I want to trigger the endorphins. I want to feel good. I want to be ready. Yeah. You know, it's so important. So the energy. And finally, on the changes model, is all about constant and never-ending self-development. It's about developing my body and my mind. Focusing on what I'm putting in my body, focuses on getting the body strong, and also getting the mind strong. What am I putting in? What am I putting out? What am I throwing away? Am I getting rid of the news and the negativity? Am I going to choose today to fill it with so much love and positivity? And if you do that every day, if you work that changes model every day, man, you will live a life of 10 out of 10, because you can't not. You know, if you follow that model, it'll work really well. So I just wanted to share that. I wasn't going to do it, but I thought I'd share.
No, I love it. It's brilliant. And yeah, I'm all about helping people to, create vision boards and go after the big vision. But ultimately, yes, we want the dream car, the house, the relationship and all of that. But really, the goal is happiness. Sits on top of everything. We all know of celebrities who seem to have it all, but then go and hang themselves.
Because they're trying to go, it's not really, because here's the thing, because their thing is the next thing, and they get to this, and then what? And they realise it's just, that's why people go to the moon. When they go to the moon, when they go, and now they have to go in to have therapy. Why? Because they're so, well, what's next? I tell you what, there's nothing next. It's here, in the present, the gift.
And some of the poorest, indigenous tribal people are some of the happiest on the planet. And it is. And so let's talk about the book. What was the kind of the inspiration behind the book? So the book's out today, so congratulations on the book launch. Live Life Happy, which a great title. That is, does what it says on the tin. So tell us a bit about the book and the inspiration. Obviously, I know I did about the blurb and obviously my condolences to you for your dad passing away. I think death is obviously often a big wake up call for us. So tell us a little bit about what brought the book.
It was interesting. Like, my dad died, all of a sudden he broke his neck, and then he was ill anyway for a while, and then he died all of a sudden. It was a bit of a weird one. And it broke me, like it proper broke me. And I remember, like, I flew away with my family. I mean, I've never cried that much in my life, and I was absolutely heartbroken. And I flew away, and it's like, as we're flying away, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what? Hold up, what can I do here? Like, you know, I teach a lot of people about, you know, reframing and getting yourself into state and that, and I had nothing. Like, I'm like, but actually, I was like, you know what? What's the one thing I want to do? Number one, I want to put my dad's name in lights. My dad was such a hero to me, and I wanted to say, I want to write a book for him. I want to dedicate something to him. And one of the things that came up constantly was like how precious life was. And I know there was many things that my dad didn't do in his life that he would want to do. But he always made people smile. People loved who he was. He was just one of them people you can't not. I don't know anyone who didn't like my dad. No one didn't like my dad. And I was like, wow. And he would always smile, have fun, always have jokes. So I was like, what's the thing I can gel here that's going to make a big impact on the world? So I was like, oh, my dad's died. I want to dedicate to, actually, I'm going to write a book about happiness. Like, actually, it all came together. And I just sat there and I wrote. I was like, I'm a big giver. Like, if I could literally now, if I could get up and put my arms around the world and give it a big hug, I would fucking love to do that right now. I just love people. I love people, and they give me so much joy, and I just love helping people. So it's like, how can I help people? And I was like, well, happiness is like we said, that's the special sauce. If everyone is happy, like if you are happy in life, you don't need anything else. So I was like, right, what can I do to change this? So I started writing, and I literally started writing everything that I've learned in personal development over the last 12 to 14 years. You know, listening to Jim Rohn, going to Tony Robbins events, listening to empowerment CDs and DVD, and all this stuff, right? And then my personal coaching stuff, and bringing it all together and saying, and the changes models in the book, it goes into a bit more detail, and it's like, how can I make a difference? What is it? I suppose my thing was, and one of the biggest things for me was, I look at the world and I watch so many people, they're walking around like they're dead. They're not smiling. If you look at a lot of these people, you walk up the town, their life is sucked out.
We can't see at the moment. Everyone's wearing a mask. Anyway, let's not go there.
Don't go there. We've got a whole different rabbit hole there, okay? But that's another story, and I could talk for hours about that. However, but they look like they're dying. You know why? Because they are. They're not. And I looked and I was like, wow, it's because it's what they've learned, what they've been conditioned with the news, what they've been conditioned with their people around them. And actually, there's a better way to think and be. And I thought, Lord, I want to put everything into this book so that they can read it and shift. And this book shifts people's mind. It goes. I've had people read the book and they've gone, whoa, actually, it made me really think about. And I was like, that's perfect. It's good. Actually, of course, there's a better way. Actually, a lot of people say to me, yeah, I realise I'm worrying about a lot of small things. It's all small stuff. So a lot of that's in the book. And I was like, well, how can I get them to keep reading, get them to step up every day and live a life with smile? But basically, my goal in life is to help people smile inside. That's my goal. I want the world to smile inside. Because if you're smiling in here, you will smile out here. And it's to look inside yourself, love who you are, and then just radiate that to the world. And that's what Live Life Happy is all about. It's about, I believe if people took that book and they started to read it and then they started to take action on it, the world will change. If everyone read it, I truly believe.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And I love the energy. I love the passion that you bring to the table, you bring to the stage, you bring to people who meet you, and it's so great that you can use something as tragic as the death of your I think that's the ultimate demonstration of you doing that, to take something horrible and and to turn it into something positive that will benefit others. I love it.
And guess what? He now is in lights because everyone who reads it opens it up to his face.
I love it. And it's and also the speed in which it happened as well. Again, that's another, take action, Just take it. If you've got an idea, take action. Not like me, been procrastinating on my book for the best part of 10 years.
My coach, who coached me for a long time, my life coach, she coached me for 5 years, a phenomenal human being, a real deep NLP person, like really spiritual, right? I was very blessed to have found her. She coached me through a lot of stuff, like real deep stuff, right? I went through 3 regression therapy stuff and all that stuff. I did a lot of stuff with that, right? I had a lot of barriers, I had a lot of blockers. And she came to see me. Like, I hadn't seen her for a few years, and she came. She went, "Oh my God!" She went, "How have you done all of this? Like, what?" She was blown away, and I'm saying this in a humble way, guys. I promise you, right? I'm just saying what she said. She said, "How have you done all these things?" And you create like she goes, "This is like, what have you? How did you do it?" Because most people are so busy thinking about it. I says, "Well, I just did it," and she went, "That's the key." Like, she goes, "That's the thing," and I want, like, if you are one of the things I've learned in life, guys, is, right, perfection is an illusion. Number one, right? So here's the thing I learned, right? You don't have to worry about the journey. You just have to take the first step. All you have to focus on is doing something towards a project or a thing that you want to do. I promise you, don't think about the how, the consequences and stuff. Just do it. And if you do that first step, here's the thing, your genius will unleash. That first step unleashes that genius, the creativity. We find a way in humanity as soon as we take a step. And I say this to people that I coach and mentor. I say, listen, man, you're just a baby. Everyone's a baby. Whatever they're doing in life, anything that new, they're just that baby trying to walk. Just step up and walk. Take one step in your life. Don't think you're going to fall. Don't worry about any failure. Just believe that you've only got to take the first step. Then you will literally be amazed at how far you can walk and the journey you'll take.
That's amazing. So the book's out today, and so I want to just end with a couple of other questions. Brilliant. So the link is in, I think, the first comment of this, in the comments below, the link to the book.
Yes. Anyone who purchases it today, August the 5th, will get a ticket to my new personal empowerment event.
Wow. Brilliant.
All right, okay, online, or so you can have it live streamed or in our venue, okay? So that's
fantastic. Brilliant. So 2 questions. Firstly, if you could go back and speak to your 14-year-old self, what would you tell him?
You are amazing.
Yeah.
Because I think that it was the belief for me. If it was one word, it would be belief.
Believe that you're amazing. Yeah.
Believe that you are amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that would be like you don't need to look anywhere else. Just look inside yourself. You are fucking incredible.
And I think we should all go and look in the mirror tonight and all tell ourselves that.
Please look in that mirror with love. Please look at yourself and keep tell yourself that story. Reprogram your fucking mind. We're being programmed. Program your mind. Step there. People say I'm insane sometimes. They go, "Oh, you know what I think's insane? I think it's insane is knocking yourself down. That's insane. Like, why would we do that? I've been there. Like, why would we not raise ourselves up?"
And if we think about where our programs and beliefs come from anyway, you know, when we start to unravel that, which is what I do with my clients, you may suddenly realize it came from overhearing a conversation between your parents, or it came from a teacher who was in a bad mood one day who just ripped up your essay and said it was a load of crap, or it may have come from something your older siblings said to you, and from that one moment in time you allowed that to just plant, that seed planted, and it grew and it took root, and you just made this whole meaning around it. And all we have to do is to think, okay, do you know what? It was just a story. I can tell myself any story I want. I can plant some new seeds today and change the trajectory for the rest of my life. It's as simple as that.
You can change your state. You can change your being. That's the power right there. If it's to be, it's up to me. You power, I call it. It's just you power. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Power.
Yeah. So the next question is, what's next for you, Gordon? What's your big vision? Clearly, you know, you've got plenty more to do. What's next?
For me, it's I want to speak around the world more. Like for me, I want to speak around the world more. I want to help more children. Like I just love helping young. Like I see the next generation is so important to humanity and the growth of what we can achieve. And I think we're in an important transition right now. So for me, I
think the work is so needed, with everything that's happened these past few months, and I think the heightened levels of anxiety and fear, kids not having been at school, everything. I think it's needed now.
I just want to help them. I want them to see. I want them to live life. I want them to look at themselves. My mission in life is for every child to realize their unique self and to be so passionate about themselves that they can go on and achieve anything that they want to. Because this whole celebrity rubbish, this whole looking externally, is what they've been conditioned to do. And actually, we can get them at their core. If we get them when they're younger, we can change the direction, not just of that person, but of humanity, to take us to new pastures. I think it's really, really important. So, and finally, my big mission is just to help people smile more.
I love it. Brilliant. So wherever you're watching right now, just do it. And I think just the act of smiling just makes you feel better. So just...
I've got a wicked trick to do, right? Here's a good thing. I love this. It's called wake up laughing. Right? So what you got to do is in the morning, wake up and piss yourself laughing. It sets your day up right there. Just wake up laughing. People think you're nuts. Like, wake up laughing your head off. Imagine that, but different. Like, observe the masses do that. Just laugh your head off. You'll wake and then look in the mirror and just start laughing. It's like, is that insane or is that normal? Like I tell you what's not abnormal. It's a bad day. That gift we've got, why not smile more for it?
I love it. Laughter is the best medicine, so they say. It is. What a great way to start the day. Let's all give that a go. So
what I say there is don't take life too seriously. You'll miss all the fun. It's. I always, one of the words I use is life's really funny. Like I say it to the kids in here. I said, ain't life funny? Just keep laughing. Like it's funny. And if you can do that, you won't take it seriously. Like people take life too seriously. Oh, it's really hard. Is it? Or is it just a game? Is it just a load of fun? You know?
Yeah. A book that actually I've been reading recently, Florence Scovel Shinn, Game of Life and How to Play It. It's a game. Oh, let's treat.
I'm reading the book.
Are you reading it now?
I'm reading it. What a book.
Oh, how funny. I must have read it about 10 times over the past decade, and I've just been telling my guys to read it because that book was written in 1925. Yeah. And I actually, guys, whoever watching, if you scroll down a little bit on my page, I posted a 30-second extract from the audio book. It was all about viruses and fear. Listen to a little clip. 1925 that was written. So anyway, we've gone on a complete tangent there. You just mentioned talking about treating it as a game. It is a game. Let's have more fun. Let's laugh more. Let's not watch the news. Let's lighten up a bit.
We need more fun, and you can create it any second. Like any second, you can create energy. You can create fun in your life. Remember, it's your choice. That's your power.
It is. Well, thank you for bringing the fun to the internet and to Facebook tonight. I hope everyone watching has enjoyed it, and if you're watching on the replay, thank you. And get Gordon's book today. Remember, there is an additional bonus of a ticket to Gordon's event if you buy your copy of the book today. And thank you so much, Gordon, and wishing you so much success with the book. And thanks for the energy, and thanks for everything you bring to the world.
Thank you very much. I've really enjoyed it. It's always great to chat to you. And remember, guys, live life happy. That's all we need.
Take care. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.